It is obscenely hot. It is so hot. I've just been to the shops with a car without air conditioning. See the face? Red face. I thought I would jump on quickly to share the love and also to, excuse me, my sister is texting me at the same time as we're online. My sister has just bought a horse and I have 4 horses, as you know. Oh, I'm so hot. It's 38 degrees in South Australia. And I've just gone to the shops to try and find a solution to how to provide water to the horses easily because they had a disagreement. They are now in 2 different ends of the paddock, and the paddock is 43 acres. So I am spending a lot of time. I'm not sure what's happening here. Can you hear me? Can you just let me know that you can hear me? Okay, that's a little bit better. It's so hot that my phone is overheating and... Oh, thanks. Thanks so much. I feel so uncomfortable with heat. I might close my computer. Oh, great. The phone is kind of flashing at me because it keeps saying it's overheating. And hey, you know what I've done? You know I have this second channel called Strong Body by Lauren, and I wanted to put an exercise video up probably once a week. Well, oh my goodness, Drew Bawaki, it is so hot here. It is really uncomfortable. Anyway, I committed to this new channel, as I do, and I've gone in, hello Jean, I've gone in 3 days this week. My gym is in a shed and it is so boiling that my camera switches off when I try and record. So I'm going to try again today to record a 20-minute exercise video, and it is going to be torture. I've started this second channel. I really want to commit to it. I want to keep it going. But recording exercise is really tough because the lighting needs to be good, and then you really need to wear a lapel mic, and I haven't worked out how to use it yet. So I'm going to do an unprofessional video on that second channel. Oh my giddy aunt, I'm so hot. I drove back and I thought to myself, I must get online because I didn't get online with you yesterday. 3 likes. Can we have 4? Can we have 4 likes? Thank you for the 3 likes. And I thought, I've got to get online and say hello to you because many of you are going to bed. I just ate broccoli chips, so I hope I don't have broccoli chips all over my teeth. Don't you love it when you're smiling or talking to somebody and they don't tell you that you've got something stuck in between your teeth? 6 likes. Thank you. Tony, hi. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Tony. Hi, Patty. Hi, everybody. I know. You know what I don't like? I don't like when people don't tell you. You know, you've got an Alice Cooper look happening, or you've got a tree trunk sticking out of your teeth, or your shirt is stuck inside your underpants or something. I think that we as a nation, we as a globe need to stand up and say, hey, you've got the Alice Cooper look happening today, or get that tree trunk out of those teeth. Or do you know you have a tree trunk stuck in your teeth? Only 57. See, Brandon, the changeover for me, so we're 38 degrees here and it's boiling. We used to be Fahrenheit, but we're not now. So my mind even going to that is, thanks, Patty, is a little bit difficult. I feel so hot. I went to the shops and bought a few things from Gawler. I just love Gawler. Gawler is as Australian as Australian as Australian. I thought, being brought up in Victoria, Australia, that I was Australian. Well, I wasn't. I didn't know what it meant to be, hey Judy, Australian, until I moved to Yatalunga. Hey Alison. Yeah, so here their accents are so strong and they look like they're out of a movie. In Gawler, with their big beards and their four-wheel drives, I just love it. And the way they talk and they're so friendly, it is awesome. If you're from America, Australia is huge, huge. So I drove from Queensland. Hey, Brandon. I drove from Queensland to Adelaide, so from one state to another, and it took 33 hours, but I broke down, so it took me 6 days. Snowing. It does not snow here. It is very hot here. Not all the time, but hotter than Victoria. I love the way you're sharing the love in the comments. I have done another sleep video. Thanks, CR. Argentina. I love Argentina. I love the meat platters in Argentina. I spent a month there and I just loved it. And I think I told you the story about how when Dad immigrated to Australia, he actually chose Argentina, but they rejected him. So he came to Australia, lucky for me, and met my mother and became a judge. So yeah, that was interesting. I am like perspiring so much that I'm dripping. I need to change my clothes, but I wanted to say hello to you before most of you go to bed. Whew, just starting to calm down. Bruno, I will be going to the shed soon, and this is pretty scary, to record a 20-minute exercise video because I committed to doing so without thinking through the ramifications of recording exercise videos in a shed in South Australia in summer. Even the movement of the shed, it's so noisy, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go out there. Hey, Linda. Thank you, Linda. The lives are very, very cash, and I said a couple of days ago that I would treat them almost as if I'm a spectator because I'm such an introvert. To the core, I'm an introvert. So there's no pretense, there's no masking. I've just brought in some of the shopping, not all the shopping. I need to go and get the rest soon. I'm finishing off a sleep meditation, which I hope to get done within the next couple of hours. I've got to go and record an exercise video in the shed, and I might melt to death as I'm doing it. What's that from the Wizard of Oz? I'm melting. Is that where that quote is from? I always think of that. As a child, I remember seeing the witch melting, and I was so terrified. I'm melting. Do you remember that statement? It was the Wizard of Oz, wasn't it? Hey, Linda. Yeah, thanks. When I paid for YouTube sub, I always listen to the guided now, not so much. Nothing like breathe in, hold for 4, breathe out, breathe in. Sunday, watch. Hey, Brandon. Hey, Alison. Yeah, Wizard of Oz. Isn't it funny? Thank you, God made the donkey talk. Julie. I think that's so funny. I just envisage, I'm melting. From the Wizard of Oz. The flying monkeys Oh my goodness, those flying monkeys on Wizard of Oz. And I've done a lot of study into narcissism. So the flying monkeys in the Wizard of Oz, and then the concept of flying monkeys, I know, so scary, in narcissism. And then Dr. Ramani, who I just adore, talks about flying monkeys as well. And yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I'm about to turn 60, and there's certain movies I've found so scary, and now people wouldn't find them scary. I found The Wizard of Oz, and I remember when Tin Man couldn't move very well, I was so devastated. I was so worried about Tin Man. I just thought, oh my goodness, he can't move. This is terrible. And Dorothy and the Witch. The other one is, I read the story Alice in Wonderland and the Mad Hatter. And that really affected me too, the thought that she disappeared down the rabbit hole. It's really interesting, isn't it? And now everything's so graphic and so Hollywood. We need to get back to the Wizard of Oz, don't we? And the incredible friendship they had. Oh, those flying monkeys. It's such a good metaphor, isn't it, the flying monkeys, for the concept of flying monkeys in narcissism, where somebody with narcissistic traits will talk vulnerable people into becoming flying monkeys for the witch. I've never seen that. I haven't seen that, Drew Rocky. I'm going to want to see it now. Oh, really? I haven't seen it. But I always love a good movie. Yeah, that tauntaun, that's so true. Yeah. We're so impacted, aren't we, by what we do when... my sister sent me a third message. I'm just reading it. Because she's bought a horse, and my sister is brain damaged in a Drew Barrymore 51st Dates sort of way. So she wants me to design the receipt of payment because that's beyond her. So when I get off here, I will do the receipt for payment. Yeah, those memories we have as a child are so impacting. Did you? You had bad dreams about her, Phoebe. I used to be so scared of, what was that serial about outer space, and that robot would go, danger, danger, Will Robinson. What was that called? Lost in Space. I was so scared. What was that creature that would fly outside the saucer and it would float outside the saucer? And what was that name of that doctor that wasn't really a doctor? I found Lost in Space so terrifying. I was so scared of that. Now that would be a joke. But as a child, I couldn't wait for it to come on each day. And I was so scared and so worried about them being lost in space. It's interesting, isn't it, how children are impacted so easily, and it's so easy to leave an imprint on a child. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I remember in Lost in Space, there was some alien that would float outside the window, and she had a funny voice, and I was so scared. Yeah, that's so true, isn't it? I think the ability to see life in perspective is a real skill, and a skill that is crucial that we practice it. We're 15 minutes in. One of the reasons I run these lives, these casual lives, is so that we can reassure people in the chats or socialise with people in the chats so that we feel less alone. So the point here is that this is casual, laid back, with nothing much to say, just hang out together and, as we say in Australia, chew the fat. Where did that phrase come from? Because I think we're becoming more and more isolated as a globe. So it's important that we have media through which we can reach out. So if you're feeling lonely right now, where's the camera? If you're feeling lonely right now, I'm sorry. Loneliness can be so painful. Yes! Really? Linda. Oh, I lost the last Linda. Yes, I wondered whether that character was, Linda, quite narcissistic. I was so bothered by that man. In the series, it's a man. It's amazing, isn't it, these movies and shows we watch as a young person. I remember with one of my babysitters when my parents were out, the babysitter made me watch a horror movie, and I think it was called Linda Love or something, and she was burnt to death. And of course, at that stage, you didn't see anything graphic, but as a child, I always remember the burning. And why did that babysitter let me sit up with her? For goodness sake, that was just awful. But these things happen, don't they? And yeah, I remember the fire. And it was just so badly done, but it still bothered me as a child that happened. Anyway, I digress. The point of these lives is that they are super casual without any true purpose other than a sense of belonging. So if you are watching this after the live is finished, perhaps you want to say hello to somebody in the chats. Perhaps you want to acknowledge someone. Perhaps you want to like some, 12 likes, thank you so much. Perhaps you want to like someone's comment. Just give somebody a sense of belonging, a sense of inclusion. It doesn't have to be any grand gestures, but just a comment written, I hope everyone's okay. If you're not having a good day, I'm thinking of you. You'll get through this. That feeling of being seen. Trash Monster, thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much. I'm going to get off in a minute because I've got to write this receipt for my sister for the horse. But I wanted just to pop on and say hello. And in a moment, I've got to do 20 minutes of exercise in the shed in the boiling heat for this new channel that is proving to be quite challenging because it's called Strong Body by Lauren, because it's so hot. So if you want to give me some love, show me some love. Yes, my sister has messaged me again, so I'm going to have to get off. Tonton, would you give someone who has trauma in their past and have passed on to their own children is willing and wanting to do better and to be better? Okay, Tonton has asked me about trauma. And of course, we are in an intergenerational trauma. And I think I'll try to answer this before I go. The interesting thing about trauma is that it is individual. So there's no one fits all pathway for people who have experienced trauma. So if any of us say, Sarah, you should do this with your trauma, we are wrong. What we can say is, how are you? And would you like to talk about your experience? So to be open to listen and person-centered therapy, where we are there to care. Hey, Alan. So to start off with caring for that person and to let them know it's okay for them to find their own path. With intergenerational trauma, I think I said in one of my lives that I was diagnosed with PTSD, secondary PTSD, which is quite common if you've got a parent that's been in war camps, prisoner of war camps. So Dad was in camps and had terrible memories and had night terrors. He'd wake up screaming. And I would fear some of the similar things that Dad would fear. So Dad was scared, or said he was scared, of people that shaved their heads because it reminded him of being in camps. He was affected by potato peel because they used to be given potato peel soup in the camps, and so Mum would hide all the potato peel. She didn't like anyone coming over who had shaved their head. I remember this because my new boyfriend at that time shaved his head, and I said, I'm so sorry, I can't take you home, it'll upset Dad. So my fear of those things was almost learned. What I would say is, firstly, it's individual. Secondly, if you are experiencing trauma because of an intergenerational issue, the first thing is to say, it's not my fault. I'm not to blame. And then attempt to see whether the best path forward is to talk about it, or possibly not to talk about it, or a combination of both. It is important to understand that sharing a narrative regarding trauma re-traumatizes the body. And we've discussed this before. It doesn't mean that we do not revisit the trauma. It means that we do so, Doreen, we do so carefully, thoughtfully, and with some deliberation. Trauma-informed care. I did a lot on trauma-informed care when I worked in a jail with people in the jail who had experienced terrible childhoods. So, number one, trauma is individual. Number two, it doesn't always help to talk about it. Number three, we don't heal from trauma. We evolve. We evolve into a new sense of who we are, a new version of us. So the concept of healing is almost setting us up for failure. The thought, like with a wound, we can put a Band-Aid on and heal. You don't heal. You become. You evolve. And that's okay. In life, what is important is that we try to reduce or minimize or avoid any pain to others. And we attempt to benefit others and benefit ourselves. That's the purpose of life, with variations. So with intergenerational trauma, there is an understanding that it is intergenerational. We do pass it on. And there needs to be a little bit of a meditation or a stepping back and looking down upon it as a witness and saying, okay, I'm so sorry, Doreen. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry, Doreen. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Doreen's story is very sad. I'm so sorry, Doreen. May I say that there's no greater love than a parent's love? May I say that? Respectfully. I would love to give you a one size fits all way of moving through trauma, but there isn't one. And our bodies keep the score and hold on to the trauma, so we can take time to listen to our bodies. In this media, being an online live, virtual hugs, Linda, to Doreen. I can't see your faces, I can't see your eyes, so it's all very generic. I'm so sorry, Doreen. You would know that my brother chose to leave this world, and I always think about, Yeah, Doreen, I think about my mother. Ruth, yeah. Sahaja, lovely, beautiful. There are so many narratives and cross narratives in this live. It's so grounding. Hey, if you're new to this live, or if you're seeing it after the live is over, consider comforting, reassuring, reaching out, contacting somebody in the comments. There's 20 likes now. Thank you. Likes help me. They help me to feel good, and they help my channel, so that's wonderful. I need to finish to do that receipt for my sister. I also need to do Doreen, again, the answer to that question is unique. Nobody can tell you what is best. Nobody knows the right way, but I know that you, as a loving grandparent, knows the right way. And is there a right way, or perhaps a more empathetic way, a wiser way, Josie? We know that I live in Yatalunga in South Australia. Linda, we know that brains don't stop growing until a child is 25 or 28, so the processing of pain is different for a younger person. There is, it could be warranted to share the truth. It could be warranted not to share the truth, depending on the person. That's not something I can advise without spending time with the several individuals involved. But Doreen, I think in your heart you would have the best decision there. Hey, Sahara. I'm going to go now. I wanted to get on a little bit earlier, but I didn't get to, and I need to do several things now. Yes, the inner you. Thank you. And yoga, I think, can be so supportive. Thanks, Alison. I'm going to go now. Much love to Doreen today. Let's all think of Doreen today. Oh, Doreen. My mother would give you such a big hug. Me too, but I'm just thinking of my mother. I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. I hope to talk to you tomorrow. If you haven't joined me on my second channel, which is Strong Body by Lauren Louise, my middle name, please join me. I'm in the infant stages of learning how to do it. I'm finding the tech of recording exercise quite hard. Thank you, Ruth. Yes, let's all send love, hugs, prayers, and thoughts to Doreen. I'm going to go. Bye.